Hey, can I tell you something that changed my life? Not having dinner manners. Now, I am not suggesting that you should eat with your mouth open and be gross like that. But I love my parents. This is a rare disagreement I have with my parents. I always grew up that you don't start eating until everybody at the table has their food. I think that as a kid, you're just like, that's polite. As an adult, I'm like, that's insane. Because I don't control, especially at a restaurant, I don't control when you get your food. The restaurant controls when you get your food, man. When your food arrives, you should eat it. Because and I don't care if you eat before I get my food, as long as you don't care if I eat before you get your food. -2. I get it, like you live with your parents. But like at some point, you're probably gonna figure out that like you can come up with your own opinions to things. You don't need to just piggyback on what they told you when you were growing up. And you may find yourself thinking differently. Why even go out to eat with people if that's the case? Hang on, I'm gonna take my hands off the controller.
My chicken tenders haven't come out yet, and you're already eating your Caesar salad? I don't even want to be here anymore.
You see that's probably not what you're saying, but that is the vibe you're giving off in that situation. Why even go out to eat in that case? Because you're spending time with friends in a different environment where you don't have to do the dishes. The restaurant should try to time it so that everybody gets their food at the same time. Yeah, I completely agree. But sometimes they don't. Sometimes they bring out 3 plates and then you're sitting there for 5 minutes and you're like, well, I don't want to start eating because your food might be out in a minute. Then I look impolite. Just talk to the people while you wait. Nah, brother, just eat your food. Honestly, if your food comes out before my food gets there, help yourself, quite frankly. Your food is best when they bring it to the table. It would be impolite for me to make you wait to eat your food when it's at the optimum temperature. I'm a very much a go ahead and eat Andy. I'm not 2 years old. I'm not gonna be like, you're eating, but I don't have food, so I can't eat yet. Like that's juvenile behavior. The kitchen is responsible for making sure all the food comes out at the same time. Yeah, I know, but sometimes I think my game crashed. No! Sometimes you blow it. I'm not getting it. It's a hard job. I'm just saying. My game was cooking. In my opinion, people are manners crazy. What is being nice? If you open a door, you should give them one of these and hold the door open for the person that's behind you. You don't have to go, "Milady," and then step aside while opening the door. But if you've already opened the door, you should extend your arm to keep it open until the person gets to the door. That's good manners. Me forcing you to look at your food until my food comes and it's a D20 roll, whether it's going to be 15 seconds or like 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, like that's not manners. That's just irrational. Just go ahead and eat. I'm not a little baby. I'm not going to be like, nobody can eat until the oldest person at the table gets their food. Because you know what's crazy is that people are like, it's manners. They say it in the same way that people say like, oh, it's common sense. You know what manners are in Korea? You don't look at someone if they're older than you when you're taking an alcoholic drink. If you ask a 40-year-old Korean, they would say it's manners. If you ask a 40-year-old American, they would be like, that's the craziest shit I've ever heard. Manners are all things you learn from the culture, but some of that shit was baked into the culture 200 years ago and is no longer applicable. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to be mad at you if your food comes out and you eat before my food comes out. But here's the way it normally goes is there's a deference, right? Your food comes out early. I say, go ahead and eat. We don't know how long my food will be. Then sometimes they'll protest and they say, no, I can wait. And I say, no, I insist. The real spirit of manners is within reason. The first person to insist gets their way. To resist and insist makes you the person with bad manners. If you go to pay for a bill and then a family member says, no, I got it, and you say, really, it's no problem, and they say, I insist, you're causing a problem if you say, no, I also insist. The first insister gets priority. You can't insist upon an insist. It's like a DMCA. A DMCA is a shot across the bow. If you counter a DMCA, if they counter that one, it goes to court. Okay? It's a arms race. As far as I'm concerned, if you respond to an insist with an I insist, then you're being impolite because you're saying your insistence is higher than my insistence. If I use that logic, I can get my way all the time as long as I insist first. Honest question, are you 4 years old? I mean, getting your way in this case is like paying your bills. Paying for a restaurant bill. Like, what are you going to insist upon? That's why I say within reason. Like, if I was going to go out with a friend and I said, let's go to this nice restaurant, and they said, let's go to Chuck E. Cheese, and then they said, I insist, sure, I would go to Chuck E. Cheese with them once. But then if they said, I insist a second time, I'm not asking them to go out again. You're the one who sounds for by being mad people are waiting for their food. Manners Andes are so annoying, man. I decline the swap, by the way. I'm literally the rational person here. Your food comes out, it's ready to eat. We're hungry, that's why we went to a restaurant in the first place. Eat. There's no rational reason for you to not eat if your food is already in front of you. I would have to be 4 years old to be mad if you were eating when my plate had not arrived yet. I don't know if it's a North American thing or it's generational, but I feel like people who are like of a certain age or born in the Midwest are very paranoid about being disrespected at all times. Someone didn't adhere to the completely arbitrary rules of the social code. They think they're better than me. Nah, dude, they're fucking hungry, or they're thinking about something else. They're probably fantasizing about, what they're gonna do when they're done looking at work screen and they can go home and look at play screen, It's about being disrespectful to others. I'm sorry to tell you this, you've been programmed by the Matrix, okay? The Matrix of Southern politeness. There's nothing innately rude about eating food that has been served to you, even if someone else's has not been served to them yet. And you're resorting to ad hominem attacks. You're saying you're an idiot, you're 2 years old. No, this is just, I feel like it's more impolite to be like, there's an invisible wall between you and your food. You can't touch it. You can't touch it. Until the big man gets his meal, until Mr. Big, the head honcho, gets his food, nobody gets to eat their food, okay? What if we just share the food that came first? Now you're like overthinking it. If it's an appetizer, everybody shares. If it's an entree, no, I don't get to eat your food just because your food arrived first. That's madness. Hey, your food came out first, so can I have a bite of your steak? I mean, like if you're my spouse, yeah. If you're my friend, maybe. I have to think about it. What if they insist? No, you can't, that's the thing. You can't insist upon an impoliteness. You can only insist on a politeness. What are you, 4? You're just echoing me, and then you think that it insults me when it actually flatters me. You're using my own rhetoric against me. It's my own rhetoric. I made it. It's like you're telling Tom York Radiohead sucks, his solo work is better. Okay, thank you. Friends that make me wait to eat my food piss me off. Thank you. There's dozens of them. We can go out we'll get along. We'll have conversations with each other. I would be pissed off if a friend got pissed off that I took a bite of my food when it arrived, when their food wasn't there. I would be like, honestly, no disrespect, Tim Tebow, that's heavy homeschooled energy. My parents always said you should wait for everybody's food to... Okay, bitch, I don't know your parents. Your parents could have voted for Mitt Romney for all I know. Like, you give them respect because they gave birth to you. I don't know who the hell they are. There's no way you act like this IRL? Well, it's because you don't act like this IRL either. The way that this shit goes IRL is like my wife's food comes out and I go, you should eat. And she goes, really? And I go, yeah, fucking obviously. And then she does because we're like normal people. If I'm out to dinner with like an acquaintance and their food comes out first and I'm like, you should eat. And they say, no, I'm fine. I say, really, honestly, what are we doing here? Your food's here, just eat. And they go, oh, okay. Sometimes they say, like, to placate me. They'll say, okay, I'll eat, and then they don't eat. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm not going to put the fork in your mouth, but what do you do if you find a hair in your food? I'll tell you what I do. I pull the hair out, I eat the food, and I don't tell anybody else at the table. I know some people are very, and I think it makes sense that they're like, they don't want to eat dirty food, because who given a choice, who would want to eat dirty food versus clean food, right? But me personally, it doesn't bother me. I know that the other people probably don't have hair in their food. So as a result, I'm not going to ruin their dinner by spoiling their appetite, by making them paranoid about there being a hair in the food. Taking one for the team, my hero. See, I don't have unreasonable opinions. I don't know if you guys all went to like the debutante's ball or something like that. The one on the far left is the soup spoon, then it's a salad spoon, then it's a salad fork, then it's a dessert fork, then it's a... Isn't insisting impolite? Not if you're in a Cold War. An insistence is not impolite in a Cold War. Because if you didn't insist, then you would just be like, no, I'm going to do this, no, I'm going to do this, no, I'm going to do this. Somebody has to say, I insist. I'm also, I don't know, this is going to sound like it's going to hurt more than anything I've said so far. Maybe it's that because I'm disrespected literally like 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then also kind of ambiently 24/7 in the YouTube comments, I'm very much not worried about being disrespected by people that I know actually respect me, like my in-laws or my friends or my family or something like that when we're out in public. I don't find it impolite if my brother-in-law wants to pick up the check at lunch. If I say, I got it, and he says, I insist, I'm like, all right, brother. I'm not like, oh, he owned me. He fucking owned me by paying for the bill. Implicitly, he thinks I'm poorer than him, and I need to be protected, but I don't need to be protected. I'm a man. I'm the one who does the protecting, even though I'm so fragile that somebody buying something for me hurt my feelings. You know, I'm not like that. That's why I always offer first, so that the other person insists. You know what? That's unethical life pro tip for sure. Always offer to pay at a family dinner. Always offer to pay first. Like reach your hand out really slowly and be like, I got it. And then wait for somebody to be like, dog, what are you talking about? You got it. I got it. I got it, guys. I got it. I got it, guys. I got it. Don't worry. And then you're like, I forgot my wallet. No. Hey, guys, I'll pay for the bill, but just so you know, I never tip. I'm going to leave a 0 tip if I pay for the bill because I don't believe in tipping, guys. Are you comfortable being complicit in my 0 tip? A lot of Andys in chat don't know about the arms race of paying for the bill. I have definitely pulled the, hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And then when I go to the bathroom, go to the front desk and just give them my credit card and say like, hey, I'm going to pay for our table. What I have never done, because I think that this is insane, but I have never done the like call the restaurant in advance and be like, I am a bald 5'10" white guy. Here's my credit card number. If you see me come in, like use this credit card to pay for the bill no matter what I've never done that. But I have pretended to go to the bathroom and then paid for the bill. But then usually after that, I go to the bathroom because I'm already up anyway. Do you go to the bathroom and then pay or pay and go to the bathroom? I think like in practice, it probably depends on how badly you have to go. But in the average situation, because I'm an adult who doesn't wait until my bladder is exploding to go pee, I would probably go to the front desk first so nobody had the opportunity to pay while I was going to the bathroom, and then I would go to the bathroom. Venmo eliminated this for me. It's different though. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Going out for dinner with friends, I still feel like splitting the bill just is like, it's normal. Like paying for whatever you ordered is normal. But family, especially with like, you know, a generational element to it, it's slightly different. What about not splitting the bill equally? I'm just going to say that that's not a Canadian thing. I'm not going to say it's an American thing. And I'm not going to say it's like a European thing. In Canada, I'm sure it's annoying for the servers to have to like itemize the bill, and sometimes they do mess it up, which is understandable. They got a lot of tables. But like in Canada, it's very, very standard practice to just be like everybody's seat is a different line item on the check, and here's all their different bills. Sometimes, maybe like 1 in 20 times, they might be like, we don't do that, we're just gonna split it evenly. And I think that is obviously a lesser value option. Then I have been to some places in America where they're like, we don't split the bill here. And I'm like, usually I'm pissed off because the food is always worth it. Like if you're a shitty restaurant, you can't afford to do that, I think. I definitely went to a place in San Francisco that was like, we're cash only and we don't split the bill here. And then I was like, well, that fucking blows. And then I had the greatest chipino of my entire life. I was like, this is sublime, you dickheads. Fucking assholes. I get accused of being judgmental, and I believe that I am judgmental. But I think the thing is, you're also like as judgmental as me, you're just not as good at it. Like, why are you ragging on people for wearing a shirt with the name of a place that they've been on it? That's like very, within the spectrum of human behavior, that's beyond normal. That's extremely common. My ass is more getting rankled by people that like go to an ice cream store and they're like, hey, can I get a sample of Tahitian vanilla? And I'm like, little bro, you don't know what vanilla ice cream tastes like? We all know you're going to order the salted caramel anyway. So like, why are you making the lineup take so long to get through? I have, maybe this might strike you as an insane take. I wouldn't, here's my rule. My ice cream shop would go out of business. I'm glad that I'm not in an ice cream store. The rule at my ice cream shop, if you take a sample of something, you have to order something you sampled. You don't get to take 3 samples and then order something that you didn't sample before, okay? Now, I'm not suggesting if you take 1 sample, you're locked in. You can take up to 3 ice cream samples, but your full order must be the best of the 3 things that you sampled. You don't get to be like, give me a bunch of free ice cream and then I'm just gonna take the usual. You're wasting everybody's time, okay? Who's sampling ice cream? Everybody in front of me in line at Salt and Straw. Jay, tell me I'm wrong on this one. If there's no queue, that wouldn't happen because my ice cream is to die for.
Took my bike to the lake, brought my shovel, brought my rake, took my boy to the swing, let him swing, let them ring. Bought my friends Italian beef, make them fart, then make them queef. Abraham Lincoln was governor here. Only a steel man can be enough. You know what I'm talking about? Sufjan Stevens?